Hey, I thought I'd do some replay footage. This game only lets you save 50 replays, so if you have a long session and you actually get a bunch of wins, you have to go in there and clear it all out. Otherwise you can't save them anymore. So I went ahead and cleared out all the bad matches. So I'm going to show, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show maybe the last of my X team here. And then I'm going to go into the Dante ones. See, I only have like 13 slots left, so it's like before I keep playing, I need to make sure that I have some slots open. People have alluded to X being the character everybody wanted, but no one plays, and I think that is kind of true. I'm a little disappointed with how they handled him. They didn't really give him an extensive moveset. But I guess they can do that for Dante because he's meant to be a more advanced character. And I think X is supposed to be like the new beginner type character. Also, X has 8 games to choose weapons from, and Dante's pretty much always just been his DMC3 incarnation. Even there, they took out his Kalina Animus in this game, so I don't know what the reasoning was, but he does feel a little limited. Apparently this game hasn't been selling well, and people have been doomsaying as always, but I think that if they went through the trouble of getting the Marvel license again, that they'll support it for a while, and also if they're able to add a pretty consistent stream of DLC, I think that it'll make money. I mean, you can get Street Fighter V, the base like vanilla Season 1 version for like $20 from Redbox, but you know, if you want to buy Season 2 and stuff, it's still a pretty significant amount of cash you got to fork over to Capcom. So that's what I think will happen with this game. I got this for free through Amazon Credit, and I wouldn't have regretted paying $60 for it. Once I actually got my hands on it, I really enjoyed playing it. And a lot of that just comes from how good the netcode is. Like, I don't know where this guy lives, but I've had like almost no bad matches.
I won't give up.
Oh, I'm glad I got this one. That's one of my favorite victories so far. That was like a no chance one, especially since I'm not that great with X.
We can change the future.
So I've got a bunch of Dante ones here. I'm gonna go with this other one first.
Only one team will be left standing.
I hope that they're able to do DLC at least for a few years, because I would like this game to succeed. And I think the biggest problem with this game is how weak the base roster is. There's just, it feels like, you know, the Marvel part of the roster, I can understand why it's weak. You know, there's lots of legal red tape and BS for them to get through to add the characters people want, like the X-Men and, you know, maybe some of the other ones. I don't know what the deal is with the Netflix Marvel characters, but I imagine there's probably some difficulty in getting them as well. But it's the Capcom roster being so weak is what bothers me the most, because obviously they don't really have any legal red tape there. You see Strider in this match, they have to pay, or at the very least mention the manga artist that created Strider back in the 80s. They have to mention him for anything, like even the reboot, which was done in 2014, which uses a new design for him. Like they have to mention Moto Kikaku, like for anything. It's like they went through the effort to put Strider back in the game, but all the stuff that they legally own is like largely ignored in this game, which I think is like the biggest problem. Because I'll be honest with you, I haven't watched any of the Marvel movies at all. Like, I'm pretty much, you know, I watched a lot of X-Men and stuff when I was a kid, and I read the comics for Spider-Man, and I watched like the first 2 Spider-Man movies, but I'm not really a big Marvel junkie aside from what they did in the 90s, which was pretty much all media. You know, there was cartoons, there was the Marvel games and stuff. So I wanted the Capcom roster to be strong to really sell me on the game, but this game really only sold me on the gameplay. And for somebody who's, you know, pretty experienced with fighting games, and I'm not the best at them, but I have enough time under my belt that I can perform decently. You know, that's one thing, but you have people that want their favorite characters in the game, and a lot of them are missing. Oh, I showed the same match again, didn't I? Alright, well, this one's pretty good anyway, so watch it again. Alright, well, my X is pretty boring to watch, so let's move on to my Dante matches. I'm sorry that I played that twice, I didn't mean to.
The battle begins.
So I think the problem that we're going to face now is the roster may be perpetually weak because the game didn't sell well enough, and they may have already kind of cut their plans in half.
Ready.
I'm sure a price cut will help, but I don't know.
Reality show! Reality show!
I mean, on the other hand, you have Dead or Alive 5, which really failed to capture an audience in the FGC, and they're just now, Koei Tecmo has officially announced that they're stopping the DLC support for it. That game came out like, what, like 4 years ago or something? It can't possibly have sold that much. I mean, it is free to play, but I don't know, maybe they can subsidize the cost of the game with a DLC. I'm pretty excited to play as Black Panther and Sigma. I hope they show them pretty soon, even though it's pretty dumb that they're not playable in the base game. People are saying Dante's like one of the best characters in the game, so I decided I wanted to enjoy it while it lasts. I know they're probably going to do some knee-jerk nerf or something. It wouldn't be the first time.
Choice but to use the
Also, everyone has been saying this, but the music in this game is terrible. I started playing like X-Men vs Street Fighter and Marvel 1 music during this because the tracks in this are just so unmemorable. They're forgettable. I can't even like remember any track from this at all, aside from some of the Capcom ones. It's pretty crazy. Like I've always thought these games had really good music, but then this game comes out and like it feels like some generic like AAA blockbuster. if you're on the fence about this game, mainly because you don't have a local scene, you should definitely pick it up, especially if you can get it on PS4. I hear the PC version is doing pretty bad, and there's like not that many people playing, but I haven't had any problems getting any matches on PS4. Which makes sense, the console is always going to be the tournament standard and what people are going to bring to events versus lugging a giant PC somewhere. The netcode is very good. All of these matches are done on Wi-Fi. I'm a pretty decent distance away from the router. The router's in another room, and I'm able to have like pretty much offline quality matches. Which is why I'm sad this game is not doing well, because this is a game I could actually see myself putting time into.
I've got to keep moving forward! You're open! No more playing nice! There's more to fighting than brute strength.
They fixed Chun's face, but Dante still looks like he's in like rehab or something. I don't know what happened to him between Marvel 3 in this game, but he does not look like himself, I'll tell you that much. So I'm just going to go through all of these, that way I have them archived. I can delete them, and that way I can do another session and not have to worry about having all my replay spots full.
Believe, fight, thrive.
Another couple matches here. I don't have enough material for 2 videos. It all now. I probably won't commentate these all the time, just since this is a new game on the channel.
Alright, buddy?
I would play Zero in this, but I never really liked the whole mechanic where you had to hold the button down. Obviously, being a Mega Man fan, it's not much of a problem in this actual game. But here, it's kind of awkward to have to hold the button down, especially since it's a 4-button game. I guess you can always just hold down jab or something.
I love it!
I always get caught by the invincibility when you use their Infinity Surge.
Reality Stone! Pilot! Pile Driver! Warrior! Take that! Incoming! Counter! Easy win! Incoming! KO! Jackpot! I win again!
Couple more to go through here.
Who will prevail?
I wonder what they will do to Dante. I think a lot of the strengths he has just comes from the way that the tag mechanic works. Like, you can tag off Crazy Dance and set up a bunch of stuff. That's what Richard Nguyen was doing at SCR this weekend. At the same time, you have to like blink that. You have to push the button like instantly. If you do it any time during the animation, they won't let you. I'm curious to see if they actually intended for that or not.
Reality Stone!
Nothing! Reality Stone! Out of my
Danger!
Watch out!
We could definitely do with making the reality surge background not so visually awful. Same deal with the screen shake during the power infinity surge. It's like really distracting. I think there's some mods for it on the PC version, but apparently hardly anyone's playing.
Now for the awesome finish!
I'm pretty upset that they don't have crossplay because I don't really like paying for I don't like paying for PS Plus. But it seems to have paid off in really good netcode. Because Street Fighter V was on like Capcom's crappy servers, and apparently that's why it had all those problems at launch and why the netcode isn't good. And I'm sure the parity, getting parity between, you know, PS4 and much more powerful machines probably isn't easy. I don't know anything about how this game's netcode was programmed, but they did something right, and if they had to cut crossplay to do it, it probably was the best decision in the long run. Most fighting games don't really, not that they don't do well, it's just they don't really have a really consistent player base. I think most people just get them to play single player, or they'll have it for like local meetups and stuff. It's always going to be easier to just stuff your PS4 in a stick in your backpack and a couple wires than it's going to be to lug a PC anywhere. This is like an Unreal Engine 4 game, so I can't imagine it'd be too easy to run on a really crappy laptop. The most cost-effective way of playing this is always going to be PS4, at least until technology advances a little more. So they changed the way Dante's cancels work. You go into Stinger and you push Fierce, and then he gets the little crazy combo circle. At that point, you can branch into anything else.
Photon absorber. You're open.
Oh, timing on that's pretty difficult.
Photon absorber. Quick flow. Not yet. Quick flow. Not yet. Quick flow. Photon absorber. Dante. Quick flow. Power.
So in terms of fight and rage, I'm gonna go a little off topic here. No one's figured out the other two secret moves. I kind of haven't wanted to play it too much because of that. And those moves might be game changers. I talked to the developer and he said that they're not really big game changers, but that throw for Norris is actually pretty good. You can even use it on the hyper-armored enemies like the Minotaur. I don't really feel like putting an extensive amount of time into it until those moves are figured out. He's using a very old school approach. He doesn't want to give any hints, so it's going to be up to us to find out how to do it. But so far there haven't really been any leads. Nice trade there. People have been saying Ultron's like one of the best characters in the game, and his Box Dash or IAD Fierce is like one of the best normals. So it's pretty crazy that Dante's Super Jump Fierce traded. Okay, I think I got both of these ones. Let me check here. I've got too many to go through. I can't even remember which one I'm on.
Battle without limits. Ready. Fight. First attack.
You hear just how generic the music is in this. I don't know what happened. Maybe Marvel told them, we need the music to sound like our movies, so make it as generic and unmemorable and forgettable as possible. That's my theory. Art style in this really doesn't bother me that much. There's some characters that look off, but it's mostly the roster and the music what I really don't like about this game. I think it'll be pretty hard for Dante to be bad in this game, even though there's a high chance they'll nerf him into uselessness. Just the way that the mechanics work. Yeah, he has a super that, you know, keeps you in hit stun for a couple of seconds. He has that throw that you can blink. It's good improv on my end to not even attempt doing a more stylish combo when just going into the sky dance and see who's going to take him out. I didn't really play Marvel 3 that much. Like most people, I wasn't able to stand the netcode. Even if I may have had possibly had the skill to really be good at that game. the netcode held me back. I think that's one of the worst online experiences I've had.
Only one team will be left standing.
So this is actually someone who subscribed to this channel. He has like really good blocking, so the fact that I was able to win it all is pretty good, especially since I don't really have that many mix-ups and stuff yet.
Fight!
These are like the only 2 times I won. It was also kind of late too, so probably didn't help too much either, but mostly his blocking is really good. But it's a shame people are sleeping on this game. It's actually really enjoyable to play online, which is, I've never been able to say that for anything other than Skullgirls. Gotta try out Strider next. Here he's much better as a point character in this game. In the last game he was pretty much just an anchor and an assist. I'm glad assists are gone, honestly. I think the tag mechanic is just way more interesting. I never liked how Marvel just became like there's so many characters that were only good for assists. I've never really cared for that. There's some really cool character designs that are just mostly ignored because their assist was better, or just making them an anchor.
Jackpot! I win again.
I think it's a lot harder to anchor in this game because you lose so much when you lose one character. I think most of the changes they made were pretty good. There's some questionable stuff for sure, but I've already played this game more than I played both versions of Marvel 3. Part of that is how much I like the tag mechanic, the other part is that the netcode actually is not complete garbage. I have nothing but respect for the people that can play online and like actually get good enough to go to an offline tournament and place like relatively high, if not win it. I think this year's EVO Marvel Top 8 was mostly full of people. A couple people out there were pretty heavy online players. Those guys are the true MVPs, because I just get pissed off at online. You know, this game's still frustrating. If you lose, it's really punishing to lose one character in this. It's one of the downsides to having it only be 2-on-2. You pretty much lose your core gameplay mechanic if you lose one party member, so it'd be kind of hard to come back. He's doing the clockwork combo. It's pretty cool if you cancel into air trick and switch. Your party member comes out. Your team member comes out from the other side. So I'm learning to incorporate that more. I probably will buy the character pass for this. Next month I gotta make a payment on the capture card and try to get that adapter so I can play Guardian Heroes again. But once I get all that squared away, maybe I'll get the character pass. I don't know when they're supposed to be releasing.
Tough work. No need for sucking the flesh.
Titan combo KO.
That was a pretty lucky punish. He was almost out of range of that.
Fantastic.
Anyway, that's the end of my replays. I'm gonna go ahead and delete these all so I can do another session. The next one probably won't be such a long video, but as you see I have like only 14 slots left. That's like barely an hour of playing, so I wanted to make sure I had all these archived. Alright, so I will upload these ones next, maybe on the next session. I'll catch you guys later. Thanks for watching.